Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I'm about to, show you a lot of stuff on this iPad Goat 2 video. On my iPad Goat 2 solved, finally, there's so much here. I'm going to just get right into it without prefacing a bunch of stuff like I normally do. I'm going to get right into it. There's a lot I have to reveal in this about this video that the Lord showed me in the last couple weeks. This has been a process over time for 3.5 years. But also, since I've been doing YouTube videos for about a month and a half, something like that, and I got to get this out right away, and hopefully I can make this somewhat, it's going to be long, but hopefully shorter, so it's not super long for people to watch, but I had to get this out before Christmas, so here we are. This is the beginning scene, of course, in iPad Goat 2. If you're not familiar with this video, I have links in the description box. I have the actual video or the movie, which is 7 minutes and 27 seconds long. I also have the link to Jkbugout's basically video that kind of does an overview, his most recent one. And it's somewhat long as well, but he gives a good synopsis of how this is a timeline. Now, I credit him with so much of understanding iPad Goat, all the foundation of iPad Goat 2 being a timeline, like I've mentioned before. Okay, I'd highly recommend you check out his video that I have in the description box. Also, if you haven't watched the iPad Go video 2, go ahead and watch that as well. And also, I have my videos, iPad Goat 2 Solved, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Now, this is going to be Part 4, although I'm calling it finally, because I have some big stuff here. So, without any further ado, I'm going to keep going here. Here is the opening scene to iPad Goat. Now, this is showing a prison camp, of course. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single little thing in this, in even the whole video, or even in this opening scene. I'm going to get to certain important information. My other videos and JK's and other things out there can kind of point to some of that stuff, especially mine and his, my previous and his. But I will point out certain things here. So this is beginning with this, basically this knob or whatever. I was thinking this is kind of electric fence kind of holder, but it doesn't look electric. Maybe it is electric. I don't know for sure, but I don't see any electric example here. But these must be that, or they're just for the barbed wire. But that is the symbol for I believe the lunar eclipse that happened this earlier this year. Okay, in July, there was a huge blood moon lunar eclipse that happened. In fact, this marks it out with this little slash right here in the 6th lunar month. Okay, in the year of the dog, which is the Wushu year. And again, I credit all that information, the understanding to Jkbugout and his channel and all his videos he's done for a couple years. I've really come to a lot of understanding as far as all the groundwork for this from him. I thank God for him. We've talked a few different times about different issues and things. We see things a little bit differently, of course, about tribulation, about the rapture. I believe in a rapture right away before the tribulation. He doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of things we disagree on, but we agree on a lot of things. We agree this is, iPad Goat 2 is about the second 9/11. We had those attacks on 9/11, and this is about the next attacks on the United States, which are going to end the United States, unfortunately. Or fortunately, it depends on how you look at it. Because I see God's plan being the ultimate plan, and also the enemy doing what he's doing, which is all evil, pure evil, and that's not God's plan. So I'm not getting in all that. So here is that symbol of the lunar eclipse. Now that's on the cheeks of these characters that are in iPad Goat. Okay, all the characters have that, and that's actually part of the logo of Heliofont, which made the company that actually made this video with all the computer animators and all that kind of stuff, and the writers and everything that was done. So this is all an Illuminati or Freemason. I mean, this is all their plans for 2017, 2018, eventualizing it towards the end of 2018, which I'm going to show, for the destruction of the United States, bringing in the Antichrist. Okay, and I'm going to get into that. So now this is where I believe it starts. So it's kind of showing you this is starting with that blood moon. This is a timeline showing the blood moon was in the 6th month, which is right here. I think this little line here is right in the middle of the 6th month. So this is representing the 6th month. You have the 7th month, and then there's a few other months represented in here. I'm not getting all that right now, actually, because it's kind of confusing to a lot of people, even to me. But I'm going to show you what this all means. This is representing the 11th month, and I'm going to show you that. It's the lunar calendar month in the Chinese calendar, okay? Now, let me just continue playing this here. And now I'm going to slow it down, actually. Okay, now I'm going to pause it. Okay, so now we have the actual 6th lunar calendar month. So that it doesn't coincide with the Gregorian calendar. It's off by like a month and a little more. And so, but it goes by the lunar cycles. In fact, this is the 6th month. Again, this is things that JK has pointed out. So I just give all kudos to him and credit to him. And this is the 6th. This is showing 6 moons. So the 6th month, lunar calendar month, 6 moons, which confirms that. This is also the 6th lunar calendar month. 6th lunar month is in the Chinese calendar the year, the month of the goat. So that's represented here as well. Okay. Then we have down here. This is the dog. It shows this guy leading a dog in a sense, and it's the year of the dog. It's the Wu Shu year, which is mean the year of the dog. Okay. And there's some other things going on here. I want to say something about this, and even to JK who's watching. This is everything right here. This is the dates of. This is 9/11 showing. This is the second 9/11 showing. The dates and everything are right on this section right here. This is showing iPad Go 2, the title and everything. Everything is right here. It's pretty crazy. I have just realized all this recently. Realized a certain amount of it, but now I do realize the whole thing. It's all right here. There's a timeline here. There's several timelines in different forms. Crazy forms, stuff you probably would never ever understand, and I'm going to show you my understanding of stuff I've been given from the Lord Jesus, and what He's shown me, the pieces He's shown me, and then I have had to put it together. So, right here again is the dog, and He's saying woof, okay. But this is another confirmation that this is the 6th month. So this is woof, but it's also woo, which is WOO. But wushu in the woo and wushu is WU, but it sounds the same. It's WOO, and then the F is capital right here. Now I'm going to go into it later, but this is all stuff that JK has found. So I'm just talking about this a little bit ahead of time. Okay, so this is the 6th month right here, and then what I've kind of done more. He talked about this being the 7th month as well. What I've talked about more is a lot more with Hawaii and what's going on with Hawaii in this whole thing. Okay, now let me play this here in slow motion here, so I can kind of pause it at the right times and everything. Okay, now his head's going to start to spin. Okay, and his eyes are starting to spin as well. Okay, his eyes are spinning and his head's spinning. Now look, see this? There are 3 goats. 3 images. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's no more. It's like a blurred image, but it's 3 different images. And then we have 2 eyes. And so what I'm going to show you here is this is actually a representation of the mountains kind of on Hawaii right here. And this is going over like a hurricane. So this is ahead of a time, predictive programming of the hurricane with messages about the Antichrist. In fact, each hurricane has a message. Each hurricane that basically hit Hawaii was a message, like I've mentioned in previous videos. Okay, there's 3 hurricanes that hit. In the first one, there was actually Hector actually even touched, and that's in here as well. Hurricane Hector. So Hurricane Hector touched Hawaii. Fisher 8, Hurricane Hector is HH, which is 88. They're the 8th letter of the alphabet. 88 touched Fisher 8, which is the fissures that were on Hawaii that exploded, and the main fissure that came up that caused a kind of a little mountain was Fisher 8. So it was Hurricane Hector, Fisher 8, so 888 on 8818, which is all not by coincidence, okay? So these are 3 hurricane represented swirling over the island of Hawaii. This little thing kind of is a representation of Hawaiian islands here. Okay, and so that is on the west coast. Now these 2 eyes swirling are the 2 hurricanes that hit the east coast, which are Florence, which means flowering, which has to do with the flower of the Antichrist being birthed. And then the other one is Michael, Okay, and there's a lot to that. Okay, as far as the war in heaven and all that kind of stuff, and Michael bringing on, casting down Lucifer to become indwelt in the so-called man or the beast and man, which I believe is Barack Obama. And I'm going to show a lot of evidence. I've shown a ton of evidence in my videos that Barack Obama is the Antichrist. Hopefully, this seals the deal. Showing you, hopefully you see enough. I'm going to show you a bunch of evidence that he is the Antichrist, okay? But this is actually showing ahead of time what these things that were actually, they're kind of announcements of a birth. That's what these things are. They're grandiose announcements of a birth. We have 2 hurricanes represented here, and we have the head swirling here. And the eyes are swirling here. In the eye is actually, he is seeing stuff in New York. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So now we have these lots falling, or dice falling. Okay, that's actually representative of a sacrifice. Okay, this is from the Bible also. The goats and the sheep are in the Bible, and God talks about the difference between the unbeliever and the believer, the goats and the sheep. The enemy is showing this as in red dye and white dye, or lots. The Bible calls them lots. And actually Aaron, when he was going to sacrifice the first goat, God had him basically, or was it Moses? That was Aaron, because he was a priest. So the sacrificial goat was the red dye, is represented by the red dye, and the scapegoat, where you heard the word scapegoat before, is from the goat that when you roll the lots or cast the lots, then there's one that was sacrificed. God said, take 2, cast lots. One will be sacrificed, one will be let loose. Okay, to God, basically. And that's represented by the white. So I believe what's going on here, this is talking about a mass sacrifice. And by the way, I mentioned in my other videos, the goat's head also looks like the Big Island. The Big Island is a shape of a goat's head. And where Kilauea has been erupting is where the throat is. And that's in my previous videos. Watch those. iPad Goat 2 solved, part 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And I'm going to get into everything right now because it's just going to go super long here. And I might go long anyway. But, okay, so there's so much going on in this. It's really crazy. So these lots are falling, and this goat's going to be sacrificed. He's in a prison camp here, but it's showing that he's going to be sacrificed. That's what this messaging is. Now, this is multi-layered. There's so many different imagery in here and messages. I can't find it all, but I'm trying to get to, the reason why I put iPad Goat 2 solved in my other videos is because I feel I've solved these different situations, the events that are going to happen, and also the locations, and then now finally the date, probably. Now listen, again, I'm going to say this again, like I've said a bunch of times in all my videos. I don't know the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a prophet, okay? I have gotten prophetic things from the Lord, thankfully. I've seen things in the future, crazy things. A lot of people don't even want to know. Some things I've shared that I can share. I've seen crazy apocalyptic things and amazing things as well. The Lord's given me visions. I'm going to share with some of the stuff in this video as well, but I've shared in other videos. But there's just so much I could get into, but I'm not going to get into all the things. Now, this is, I just can't, I'm just speculating here, okay? I'm speculating. And I'm looking at all the information that I've been given and the things I've searched out and everything, and I'm speculating on this time. Now, hopefully, I put together enough evidence so you can see that this is coming. Now, my whole heart is to just warn all of you, any of you, that this is coming. And I recommend that you get close to Jesus. And if you don't know him, ask him to come to you and, confess that Jesus is your Lord and believe in your heart God raised from the dead, and you will be saved. Okay, if you ask for his help, he will come to you. Okay, so I'm asking you to consider this. Now, I think most people won't believe it, and that's fine. And the Lord's told me that. But I want to tell you this ahead of time so you see this. So when this stuff starts happening, then you know it's real. Okay, you know it's real. You know some of the details I've shared. Okay, so there's so much in this. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm going to just go a little bit farther here. Okay, see where he stops right here? Okay, it's pretty much where he stops and then it starts fading out. Now look at this. This is crazy. Right here. Now this is the second. Well, actually, there's a little bit more. This says iPad Go 2. Okay. Now right here, this is 9 11. See this upside down? There's an upside down 9 right here, and it's 11, 9/11. So it's the second 9/11. And then it's iPad Goat 2. And JK in his video explains it very well. When Bush was in the classroom of these children when 9/11 happened, they were reading The Pet Goat. And so this is the second version of The Pet Goat in a sense. Okay, there's so much going on here. Okay, and I'm going to get into my slide presentation here in a second to show you a lot of these details, okay, that are hidden all over here. But this is basically showing the year of the dog in the Chinese lunar calendar. Plus, here he's got a barcode on his forehead, which is 666. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So this is the year 2018. This whole thing is about 2017 and 2018 mainly. Okay, it's a timeline. Okay. And I'm going to show you that in Jkbugout's video. I highly recommend you check it out in the link in the description box so you get a really good foundation. Even maybe watch it before this. It's up to you. But you got to understand some of this foundation before you really understand what's going on. And the other thing I want to mention here before I forget, and I forget a lot of different things all the time because I have a lot of information, and I'm doing this live all the time. Now, right here where his eyes are, in his dark areas here is the old lady that's in the tower. This is her nose, even though her nose is bent down, but this is her mouth, this is her chin, and these are her eyes. And in his eye is what she sees, which is crazy, which ties his eyes as the East Coast. And so that's two hurricanes that are swirling. His eyes are swirling here. They're swirling or whatever. And those are the two hurricanes, the big hurricanes that hit the East Coast. Okay, this is all messaging for the birth of the Antichrist. That's what those things are. They did other things as well. They had uses, these man-made globalist technology, pre-planned hurricanes. And this is the reason why you can know this is all pre-planned, because this is all in iPad Goat. This was made in 2012. Okay, and then he had the vision years before that because it took him years to put this together because they have to animate it and everything. So that was even before that they knew of all this. And this is all demonic. These are demon-inspired plans that they give to different people, like the person in a group and the company who made this. Okay, it's very demonic, this whole thing, because they have advanced intelligences, demon intelligence, and they work across all media because they inspire the worldly media that's all around us. And so they work in conjunction with all these different clues and things. And I'm going to bring in a few different things than just iPad Go to show you what my point is. But iPad Go is a big foundation because it shows their plans in a timeline. Okay, now I'm going to go to that right now and then talk about some of these things here. Okay, so basically, what I want to talk about right now is the timing of these events, okay? And I've speculated several times, probably 4 or 5 times over the last few months about the timing on this. Now, I realize it's towards the end of the 2018, and 2018 is almost over. Now, each time I've come closer and closer to what this is, and more understanding, just like JK as well. And Julian T is another person as well who has some understanding on these and showed understanding through the imagery and things. Now, right here is some of the revelation that's right in front of your face is 11, okay? And it's also shown right here as 11 right here. There's 11 on this crate or whatever it is, box, okay? Now 11 is the 11th lunar calendar month, which runs from December into January, early part of January, okay? So it's still in 2018. So this is very important. There's so much stuff going on here. This is crazy. Okay, then on this goat's actual neck is a bell, and it has an S on it. Okay, and this is what I want to talk about. There's so many things I could talk about it, but I'm going to go step by step here and just hit the stuff I want to hit. Okay, on his bell is an S right here. See, S? Now, letters mean numbers in this, all kinds of symbols for different numbers and letters and things. So S is the 19th letter of the alphabet, so it's symbolic of 19. Okay, so if we have 11 here, and it's also shown in the timeline, this is a timeline going this way. It's also sideways, which I've shown on my videos, and you got to check those out as well, is 11, and then it's also shown here, 11, because this is like the overview of everything. This shows you everything right here, okay? The year, the events, the tsunami, the hurricanes and some other stuff in here. There's even a tsunami thing over here. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but there's so much. And then this is a timeline going this way. It ends with this being the same thing, the 11th month. And guess what? So we have S right here. So 11th month, the S is in the 19th day. Okay, now I'm gonna show you. I'm talking about that first. Okay, so we have that. Okay, and then we have as well. Again, talked about this in his eye right here. Now, if I were to zoom in, and which I've done in other videos, you can see that there's some islands right here, which is a future scene, which shows New York. Basically the Statue of Liberty on Ellis Island, basically, and it's what the old woman sees. And there's a bar right here, and there's an island right here and stuff. So basically, he sees what she sees. So that connects them as far as these being on the East Coast. Okay. And then we have 11, and then we have that S on the bell. Okay, now it's going to be duplicated because this is the actual timeline. So this is the 11th month right here, which has an 11 right here, which you can't super see right now, but hopefully you can. Now right here is an S, kind of sideways, kind of at an angle. It's an S. Okay, it's an S. So we have 11S right here. So again, we have it. It's 11S, which is the 11th month, and S is 19, the 19th day. Okay. Which is huge. What is that? Actually, let me go to that real quick, actually. The 11th month, so we have here, this is the Chinese, the Gregorian lunar calendar conversion table of 2018, the Wushu year of the dog, and that's what you're seeing there. Okay, so we have the 11th month right here, okay, right there, and then if you go over here, you have the 19th day right here. Well, what is that? That's December 19, you go up here, 25th. Christmas. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, and I'm going to show you several places where there's 1119. Okay, this is just phenomenal, really. So 1119. Now I'm going to go back here again to get into this. Okay, now there's so many things going on in this. This is multi-layered. I can't hit everything, but there's this dog, and this dog is saying woof. And again, I said it's the woo year, and then F, which it looks like it's one word, but it's also, that's a uppercase F again, which doesn't quite fit. So F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. And again, JK has mentioned this is all his. And so this is the 6th month. So in the woo year, the 6th month is F. Now the dog is barking, and he's pointed this way. He looked kind of like he's a kind of a shark looking thing. But there's something else going on right here. Right here is showing you a very important code, and that I got in a dream and some other stuff. This is 9 right here, 9, and we have 2 and 3 right here. It's not, doesn't look like a dog's mouth at all. I mean, it's very, and the reason why is because there's a 2. You can kind of see the end of it, 2 and 3. It's 9, 2, 3. Now I'm gonna show you plenty 9, 2, 3s. So that looks a little, I don't know about that. There's far more going on. Now it's pointing to something over here. This thing over here, what is that? He's kind of barking at this. Something's going on. He's barking. The guy's pulling him back. Again, this is, these are all purposeful. Every single thing in here has a purpose. We just don't know what it all is. I mean, I don't have their intelligence. I don't know their playbook. I don't know what they know. So I'm going to have to do my best, and I have been doing that for months now. Okay, so this is what he's looking at, and I've shared this on another video, but this is an H. Okay, it's a lowercase h backwards, but it's also an uppercase H. That stands for Hawaii, and there's several reasons why that is. We're talking about the Hawaiian Islands with those hurricanes and several things. So this is talking about Hawaii. Now when this goes across, you saw when it panned across, it went from that blood moon symbol looking thing that hold the barbed wire that was kind of symbolic of the blood moons over to here. This barbed wire moved, okay? This barbed wire moved. It was over here, and then it moves right here. Now this is the S right here. It's hard to see, but it's right here. Okay, there's an S right here. This barbed wire moved. So this is Hawaii, and Hawaii moved into this S, which is the 19th day of the 11th month. And it's confirmed over here, of course. So then Hawaii is going to go into the 19th day, which is, of course, what day is that? That is against December 25th, okay? And it moved into here. These are strange, different timelines. These boxes are timeline. This barbed wire is a timeline. It moves into here. And then it's going to go into this other thing right here, which is a Y. This is a Y right here. The 11, go back here. This 11 is connected to a backwards Y. Now, we'll talk about that a little later here, okay? This is crazy. There's some big stuff going on in here. All right. Now, I had this dream. Now, talking about 923, I've shared this many times, but I'm just going to touch on this. I had this dream about America being laid low. I was in a McDonald's. I was with some friends. It was very sharp and clear and amazing. I don't remember dreams. When I do remember a dream and it's super sharp, it has a message, it's from God, there's no doubt. It's just absolutely crazy. Don't ask me how this looked exactly, but it's somehow on a tray. It was 9, 2, and 3. And it looked like it was somewhat separated here, but it wasn't that obvious that it was a date. I didn't know what it was. And then on the tray, it said something like it said America is laid low, but I can't explain how it looked on the tray. I can't explain how all these things looked. I just know roughly how it looked. It doesn't make sense to me how it did that, but it just did. I just knew it was there. I kind of sort of saw it there. Okay, so I've never used laid low, and so I knew that was a big deal. He was showing me something about America being destroyed, but I didn't know what it was. Okay, a few years later, and this was just actually when Hurricane Olivia hit Hawaii, basically. It had effects on Hawaii with all kinds of rain and waves and stuff. This came to where I was working. I worked for a nonprofit, and it came in. This is an olive barrel, which is crazy because olive. This is an olive oil barrel, basically. And it said on here, it was marked just on there. There's actually 2 that came in. I never looked at the other one as far as the markings on it. These are probably done at the warehouse or something, I don't know. But they came in, and I had a video showing a video where my coworkers said, hey, yeah, this just came in. These were marked like that. I have no idea what the other one was marked at. But right here it says 923 and then 1201. And I'm going to bring that back here in a little bit. But there's the 923 again. And God's done this several times with me with 923. I've seen 923 on clocks and stuff like 1,000 times. At weird times, I've seen 923 on license plates and stuff at weird times. I mean, every kind of thing you think of. And for years. And it's just been, and I think I finally solved this whole thing. And it feels good to finally being led to the answer of this massive, ridiculous, in a way. I mean, it's not a good thing in a lot of ways, but it's also a good thing in certain ways. But mostly, a lot of people are going to die, and I don't like that. Okay, but it is what it is. But people are going to leave this planet being children of God, and they are going to disappear and be raptured, and then some are going to be left. I'm sorry if you don't believe that, but you'll see it happen. Okay, and this is related to these numbers 923. Okay, what is it? What do they mean? Well, I'm going to get into it. Now, right in here, the next scene after the goat scene is these hands of Draco, and the character's called Draco, and he's basically a puppet master, of course, and he's represents of the dragon or Satan, basically, right? And then right here on his fingers is the heart bleeding. So hearts, I believe the different cities that of these different countries, even London and Tokyo, I believe are going to be hit by tsunamis. But definitely Hawaii and New York are going to be hit. And they are kind of like the heart of the country in a way. Hawaii in one way and New York in another way. And we've had terrorist attacks in New York a few times and, that kind of thing. So they're kind of the heart of this country in a sense. And it's bleeding. And right here, as you can see, maybe look here, it says 2 and 3. Okay, and JK has actually pointed this out, but I saw it as well. I don't know who saw it first, but I have seen 9. There's a 9 right here. Now let me show you. There's a 9 right here, and it's kind of a little bit sorry, but it's right here. 9. You see the bottom of it right here? It's a 9, 2, 3 right here. 9, 2, 3. Well, what is it pointing to? It's pointing to, this is on one hand 9, 2, 3. The other hand is, look, 1, 1, 11, S. Again, there it is, the 11th month, and S is 19. 11, 19, like I've shown you, that is Christmas. Okay, so the hearts of the country are going to be hit and bleeding. Okay, and by the way, when those hurricanes hit Hawaii, okay, you had Lane, you had Norman, and then you had Olivia. Okay, and those are messages, like I mentioned. So Lane, it means spear. Lane means spear. And I studied it, I went farther than other people went. And it's actually older Gaelic, I think it is, which means it's not a row, it's a spear. And so they're planning to spear the heart of America, 2 hearts based on either coast. and that's why it's bleeding. It's being speared, just like Jesus was speared in a sense. Okay, and then Norman is the man from the north, which I believe it's talking about Kim Jong Un. Okay, so they're going to blame him for doing this. This is all a big ruse. All of it. All the stuff that's been going on with them, this is all a big play, and Trump and Kim Jong Un and all these people and all these, Vladimir Putin and all these people are all players because they're all Illuminati, they're all Freemasons, all this stuff. It's all a big ruse. So people are fooled in taking the mark of the beast and taking on this one world religion, one world government, all this stuff. Okay, this is all a big ruse. These are all initiated people for years and years and years. It's all been planned for years and years and years. It's absolutely crazy. And we're all the dupes. Okay, we're all the dupes. Hopefully we're not. And hopefully I have not been, because I've seen this early. The Lord showed me. He knocked me upside the head about 3.5 years ago, seriously hard, in a good way, and said, hey, look, this is what's going on. You need to look into this, and you need to warn people, and you need to learn all this stuff in 3.5 years to show people. Okay, this is crazy. All right. So this is going to happen. These are these massive chaos things that are going to happen to cause people to reach for the government for answers and the Antichrist, which will be there as some big savior and Messiah. Okay, so this is 11S, which is 11:19. Okay, and that's what this is showing right here. Okay, now let's move on here. Right, yeah, anyway, here we go. Okay, and then he's puppeting. Okay, it goes down to Bush right here. Okay, and Bush is definitely a puppet. I mean, it's crazy. But so if you don't understand that, sorry, but here's that circle again right there on his face, and then right here, there's more here. Now he's doing this boom sign, okay, and like JK is pointing out, but I knew what the boom sign was from the video with Prince Harry and the Queen going, oh, we're going to bring it, boom, and all this stuff. And that's the nuclear bomb sign. Basically, it's nuclear explosion. In that little clip I did as well, analysis of that one, I showed how when Queen Elizabeth and Prince Harry are talking about the Invictus Games, that he's doing the boom sign and everything, and that has to do with nuclear attack. Okay. And then this is what he's kind of showing, but right here, I'm going to want to show you this. Now there's an S here. See this S? There's the S again, the 19, and then here's the 11. Here's the 11, but it means two things. It maybe means more things, but you see how this looks like water? It's very wavy and everything. This is water, and this is a big wave. See this wave right here? It's a wave, and I was like, oh, this looks like a wave. And then later I saw, oh, there's an S here. And then when I realized I saw these other 11 S's and things in the video, then I realized there's an 11 right here. It's 11S. Now listen, these are somewhat distorted. I mean, they can't make them perfect so you could see them all over the place. Things have to be somewhat distorted and backwards and upside down and kind of, barely there, kind of, sort of, but there's got to be some evidence they're there, and they have to have other things in the video, because they're going to show their moves. They're super arrogant, and they want to do that. Plus, I believe it's a spiritual law that they have to. If massive amount of people are going to get killed, then I think God, somewhere in heaven, there's a legal precedent that you have to show these things ahead of time so people can either reject it or, get away from it or whatever. Because, we're talking about, millions of people that are going to be killed. This is going to be horrible. And I just know it's coming. I can't say I don't want it to happen, of course, but it's coming. So 11S right here, 11S. Okay. Now I'm going to show you, it's going to change here in a minute. Now here he is a little bit later in the video. He's pointing to this shark, which is referring to a sub. If you think of a man-made shark in the water, it's a submarine, okay? It's a submarine, and again, like JK's pointed out, a lot of his understanding my understanding come from his in the beginning about some of this stuff, but this is a shark, and the shark's going to attack the East Coast. Now look, he's looking right at New York, and in fact, there's a pin there, because that's where a terrorist attack has happened in the past. They're showing different false flags here on the map. And a little flag. Anyway, he's looking right at New York, and he's pointing down here to Florida and maybe even up the coast here a little bit, but it's definitely East Coast. The point of his hat in the shadow actually goes up the East Coast while it's pointing at the shark as well in the video. This is all pointed out by Jkbugout, but I'm adding some different things that I've seen and I'm seeing, okay? And there's some things that he may have seen as well that I don't know about since then, but I'm definitely pointing out he has had a lot of this original understanding, and some from Julian T as well. Okay, So he's pointing to the East Coast. He's looking at New York while he's pointing to the shark. That's basically the submarine that's going to cause this big, massive wave. Now, let me go to the next one. When he's still doing this, look right up here. Now, this is the telltale sign. This is crazy right here. So remember, this is 11 and S. Now, this kind of looks like a 5. See, it can have these different things can have multi-means. Sometimes you can have this 5 different messages on the same imagery. It's just crazy. So this kind of looks like a 5 now. Okay, a little bit. The way it's slanted and everything. This looks a little bit flatter up here with the S. And you have 2. So you have 2, 5. And then you have D, December 25th. And it just so happens to be that December 25th is 11/19, which is S is the 19th letter of the lunar calendar. Okay, this is not coincidence. This is D for December 25, December 25th. And of course, we're in 2018. So that's tomorrow. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see. Okay, I may not be right. Okay, and I'm just speculating, like I said. Okay, I don't know the future, but this is crazy. You got to admit that this is crazy. Why would this be happening? I'm going to show you far more than this. Okay, more is coming. Okay, so there it is right there. He's pointing at that. He's pointing at the attack. Okay, now I want to jump to another scene. Okay, on iPad Go. Now it shows this. Now there's a lot going on here. Some of these scenes show 2 years, 17 and 18. Now this is crazy. This is showing an oil pump right here. And this was when the lightning goes down, it says rain and lightning. And that's when Hurricane Harvey hit Texas, okay? But in 2018, we had a Hurricane Hector, which was HH. There's a lot of things with that. Actually, I'm sorry. It was Hurricane Lane that had so much, it was a kind of a parallel for 2017 to 2018. Hurricane Harvey had 50 plus inches of rain in Texas. And that's shown here with the oil and everything. That's Texas coming off here. But the parallel for the next year was 2018 Hurricane Lane, which was about the same time of year in September. And it had 50 plus inches in Hawaii. So that's really pointing to, what is this? Hurricane Lane. And it's pointing to that this is Hawaii. And it looks like Hawaii. Now, one of the ways I know this looks like Hawaii, the big island right here, because I've been there. And I've been off the coast of Hawaii right here. I've been to the southern tip of Hawaii. They have green sand beach. It's really crazy. They have white sand beach and black sand beach. I've also been off the coast of the big island, snorkeling and different stuff. And I've seen it, what it looks like. It's really fat like here, and it comes down here. And this is totally, in fact, there's times when the on the top of Hawaii where Mauna Kea is and everything like that, you have all these clouds, and they kind of look like they're fighting they're like hanging right on top here. It looks just so much like this. And when I looked at this at one point, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Hawaii. And I realized that is actually this is actually showing 2 years, 2017 and 2018 kind of intermix, because that's Harvey, and this is also Lane. Again, both had 50 plus inches, and ultimately this is showing Hawaii right here. This is also showing right here a tsunami wave right here in the water. Again, these are multi-layered, multifaceted. It's really crazy, and I believe this is showing ships and going to be hit by this massive wave. Now they look like clouds, right? But there's also a white rabbit right here, and I'm going to talk about a white rabbit at some point. But there's a white rabbit. There's white rabbits, and maybe he's kind of stretched out. You see, he's kind of stretched out, and the legs going back like that. It's a white rabbit kind of jumping or whatever. There's just so much in here. You follow the white rabbit. I'm going to talk about that as well. But this oil makes a drop, and I've watched my last videos. The iPad Go 2 Solid 1, 2, and 3. They're right in here. See, this says 3, 2, 1. Backwards is 1, 2, 3. It's talking about the 3 hurricanes that hit Hawaii. Okay, there's probably more information in all this, but this is what I've been able to glean so far. Okay, so this is Hawaii. Now check this out. This is absolutely nuts. When I found this, I could not believe it. And it was kind of by accident. The next transition into this New York or Statue of Liberty on the island scene and everything, and these little islands here, transitioning from that scene to this scene. Now look, this is so crazy. I felt like I was going to fall off the seat that I was sitting on. This is Hawaii, and then Kilauea is right over here. This is just like it. This is the East Rift Zone. This is Helena Slump down here. And see this explosion right here? See this explosion right here? This is crazy. Look at this explosion right off the island of Kilauea. There's so much going on here. This is nuts. But it's right here. That's showing Kilauea and an explosion, and that's again. There's several places where it shows an explosion or an example of an explosion, or Hawaii and the island being basically split, things like that, and which I'm going to show here. And then you have this New York scene kind of coming into view here, right? Now this is absolutely nuts. So there's so much going on here. Now let me go to the next scene. Okay, now it goes. Again, that was Hawaii, so this is connected to Hawaii, so just remember that, okay? This is New York, so we have two tsunamis, mega tsunamis that are going to hit New York and Hawaii, and even going across the Pacific, hit the West Coast simultaneously. Two different locations in a sense, okay? They're going to basically cause these with these, they're going to make it look natural, or maybe even blame, I think North Korea is going to be in on it somehow, maybe not initially, but they're going to maybe find it out or something. I'm telling you, a lot of stuff I'm looking at and seeing and different things. North Korea, North Korea, North Korea. Kim Jong Un, Kim Jong Un. It's just crazy. I don't know how this all. They recently talked about this big weapon that North Korea has, but they don't know what it is, or they couldn't say what it was. So they're putting all this predictive programming out there. Okay, now I want to talk first of all about this white rabbit right here. See the white rabbit? That's the explosion right here that was off Kilauea right here, which it looks like an island right here. It looks like ice or something like that. But this is all intentional imagery to be hidden and everything. But there's a white rabbit right here. See here, he's got his ear, his arm, his legs. That's a white rabbit. And it's white because it looks kind of like ice or whatever, right? There's another white rabbit right here. See the eye, the nose, the mouth, the two ears right here. There's stuff hidden in here as well. There's a white rabbit. So that's an event with a white rabbit, and this is an event with a white rabbit, okay? This is the event associated with Kilauea and Hawaii, and this is the event associated right here with New York. There's two events going on right here. Now, originally, Jkbugout had the understanding of this being a tsunami wave, this darkened area right here, and going to hit New York. Yes, and that's awesome. Thank you, JK. Thank you. And then later on, one of my subscribers said, in one of the comments, this is Hawaii. It looks like HI. Now, when you squint your eyes right here, squint your eyes a little bit, you can see the shadows a little bit more when you squint your eyes, and it's H and a little I, Hawaii. And it also looks like an island, which is Hawaii is an island chain, right? Okay, so this is the tsunami that's going to hit Hawaii and New York at roughly around the same time. Okay, and that's what I found. Now, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was going to be the same time or whatever, but I knew that I saw Hawaii here, and then it just kept adding up. I was like, oh my gosh, Hawaii and New York, and this is a tsunami wave kind of represented. But when I found out was the timing was about the same time or the same time. This is crazy, okay? Now, why is that? How do I know that? Well, before that, go to the next thing here. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me talk about this first. I'm going to slide through. Yep. Okay, so about the white rabbit. Alice's strange journey begins when she sees a white rabbit wearing a waistcoat, speaking English, and decides to follow him down his rabbit hole. The phrase, follow the white rabbit, means to follow an idea or a concept which may lead to a strange place. Yeah, you know what? We're all going to a strange place. The ones who are going to be raptured during this, when this all starts, they're going to a strange place, a strange, cool place. The ones who are not going to be and who are going to be staying here, they're going to go to a very strange place. It's called the tribulation. It's called a lot of crazy stuff. It's called aliens coming on the scene at some point, who are basically demons and false bodies that look like these giants, kind of these crazy beings and stuff. They're going to have the reasons why we disappeared and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, just so you know ahead of time, I know it seems outrageous maybe, but it's coming. Okay, so when it originally shows this without the star underneath, okay, you can naturally orient this to up and down. And naturally somebody would orient this scene up and down, okay, top to bottom. So that is a clock right here. See this? Which is 2, and it's a little after 2. There's a tick right there. It's a little out. This is 12, and this would be 2 on a clock. See, this is kind of the center point right here on the clock, see? So again, there's so much in here. I mean, how can anybody say this is just a cartoon with the description that the JK has put out and I've put out and Julian T has put out and other people? There's so much more going on here. Okay, so at that, before the star came on the scene, like I showed you in this one right here. Okay, let's go back to this one. So it's 2 o'clock. Okay, now over here, hidden is a J. And then see this 3 here. It's a J3. These two associated because they're right by each other. Again, I said this is Hawaii. This is New York. So you have J, which is 10. J is the 10th letter of the alphabet. And then 3 right here. So J3 was October 3rd, which is the presidential alert. And guess what? It went out from at 2:18. Now, why 2:18? Well, because see, 2, and it's a little bit after 2, so it'll be 2:18. I mean, maybe there's an 18 in here somewhere. I mean, I don't know. But the point is it's after 2 sometime. It's a little after the 2 o'clock tick there. And it was 10:03. So October 3rd was the presidential alert. Now, this all links in here. It's pretty crazy. But then, let me go back to here. But then, down again, these are false flags. Come on here. Hold on. Okay, I had a little bit of problem with my program there. It kind of froze. I hate it when that happens. There's little technical difficulties, but I'm back. So, okay, so before this little star shows up, it looks like up and down orientation, but then as soon as it shows up, you can see that this is orientating this way at an angle here. Now that changes. If you think of a clock being this direction right here, at an angle here, this is after 3. This big hand's after the 12 a little ways, and then this is after the 3 on the little hand right here. And then if you keep going this direction, now this is remember this is New York, so this is about 3 o'clock, after 3 o'clock in New York time, whenever the date is, right? But then right here, up here, this is Hawaii, because this is explosion off Hawaii. This is a 9. See the 9 here? But this is also a little clock hand with a bigger, thing to hold it on the clock. For example, and it's pointing this way, so that's the 9 position, or just after the 9 position, because we're going this direction, remember? So right here, just a little, see the little tick right there? It's a little tick, and then it's after the 9, so it's 9 after 9 in Hawaii. And it just so happens, for me to confirm this, just so happens that 9 o'clock in Hawaii is 3 o'clock in New York, or on the East Coast. Okay, that's crazy. Whether it's AM or PM, whether it's 9 p.m. In Hawaii and 3 a.m. in New York, or it's 9 a.m. in Hawaii and 3 p.m. in New York, is 6 hours difference. And this matches, and I confirmed it that way, but also with other things as well. But this is crazy. Okay, so, but right here I want to show you this, and I'm going to show you some other stuff later. But right here in this Kilauea explosion, which looks like an island, is 9. See this 9 here? It's sideways and backwards. 9, 2, 3. 9, 2, 3. I've shared this on some of my videos already, but 9, 2, 3. So this is 9, 2, 3. That's what I've seen in my visions, and in my dreams and things like that. And God's given me 923 in so many different ways on that barrel. And there's 923. Guess what? And that's associated with Hawaii. There's a 923 associated with Hawaii as well. Where is it? Right here. 9. This is a 9 right here. Of course, it's the bunny face, so it can't be super obvious. But there's a hole here in the 9. There's a 9, and then upside down, this is a 2, and this is a 3. Now I'll show you this in a little bit here. This upside down stuff, but we have a 9, 2, and 3. Okay, and I'm gonna show you more later, but this is crazy. Okay, so we have a 9, 2, 3 and a 9, 2, 3. Well, what's 9, 2, 3? Well, I'm gonna show you here now, but I want to hit this first. Now, I was going to talk about the other aspects to this timing in other sources. So one of them is, of course, the completely Illuminati inspired and partially owned by the Rothschilds, the Economist magazine cover, and Economist magazine, and here's the cover, okay? Now, when looking at these different, if you're familiar with this, or maybe you're not, you're looking at these different icons or whatever on this cover, over some time, looking at it, I was thinking, okay, you could look at this, and I knew there's a code in here. Immediately, I thought of a puzzle, because I kind of think that way, and I know how these people think kind of in those terms. I've learned about it. The Lord's given me some insight about it, thankfully. I don't like it. I hate it all, what they do, and their deceptive little things, and their trickery and everything, and their little hidden messages and everything. But I'm revealing it because the Lord wants me to reveal it to you, so you see it. And other people have done similar things, and there's a lot of information out there that I've gleaned from and stuff to get to this point, of course. Thank you for all of you. Okay, but there is a code in here. There's several codes in here. So this can be read right to left, and then also right to left, top to bottom, but also left to right, top to bottom, right to left, bottom to top, and then you go up and down, because it reminded me of Egyptian hieroglyphs. So they were read top to bottom like this, and then to the left to the right. So these read like this, okay, and like this. So you have forward, backward, top, and upside down, basically, in a sense. Okay, so these are codes. These are number codes. Okay, so right here we have 1. So this is 7 in each row. So we have 7 and we have 14, and then, well, let me do this first. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ooh, this is a clock. The clock tower with 11. Well, we know Big Ben about 11. Hopefully, maybe you do. I don't know, but that commemorated the end of World War I, which is 11/11 and 11/11 or 11 whatever, all that stuff. That's 11. But by the way, it's 11 this direction, and if you go this direction, so if you go top to bottom or bottom to top, you go this way, it's 11 as well. So it's 11, 11, 11, 11. I've been talking about 11/11 for a while, and other people have too. Okay, why? How's that? Then remember we're talking about the Statue of Liberty. Well, guess what? If you go this direction, okay, it's the 29th one. Well, 2-9 is 9-2 backwards. Again, they do a lot of things upside down and backwards, or just upside down, or both. 2-9 is 9-2, and I've talked about 9-2 several times. That's the attack day, 9-2, which is part of 9-2-3. And then you go from over here, this direction, do the exact opposite, and go like top to bottom, but backwards, and it's 29 again, which is 9-2. Okay, Donald Trump is from this side 36, but is also something from this side, which is crazy, which is 9-3. That means something's going to happen. 36 is upside down and backwards, 9-3. So we have 9-2-3 right here. We have so much. Right here, you have the clock tower, which represents that basically the attack. Let me show you this actually. Here it is right here. Look at the clock tower right here. Okay, that represents 11/11 because we have 11. Remember the direction from the bottom to the top across. Top or bottom, get there the same way by 11 and 11. So it's 11/11. A lot of people have seen 11/11 on the clock for years, maybe. A lot of Christians, a lot of other people. It's foretelling warning you of this coming event, which is also 11/11. It's also a date of 11/11. That's why they had all these different things. Like in my last video, I mentioned about the Paris Peace Forum. Recognized the end of World War I again at 11/11 and 11/11 and all that. And it just so happens to show the clock, like I showed you, after 3, just after 3. See that? It's just after 3. Just like these things coincide. They relate to each other because they're all messages from demons that work in all these different people, but they're all in the same thing, the same messaging. So this is showing after 3 in this clock. There's several things going on here. I mean, this is insane, really. But you can tell by doing the count. Okay, for example, if you count from bottom to top this direction, this is the 69th. I'm sorry, from bottom. Okay, so you go top to how you normally read, but you go the opposite way, this way, starting this way, this way, this way, like this. Then the baby is 69, which is just really crazy because that is the portal. That is the 69 is the dimensional portal when we're going to be taken away, and that's the baby being born right there. I mean, there's so much, and I've shared already how these in an angle relate to each other. Remember I said about the missile, were basically nuclear attack on the United States, Kim Jong Un or North Korea, and then here's 11/11. I mean, there's so much right here. If you go like this, you go this direction, go 33, it gets to Vladimir Putin. You go this direction, 33 is Vladimir Putin. He's a 33rd degree Mason. I mean, there's so much in here. I could hit so many things. I'm not going to spend the time. So you can do it yourself. Go, forwards and backwards, up, start top and up, top to down and bottom to top, in the exact opposite directions. And there's all kinds of codes in here about these different things. But mainly it's showing you when the attack's going to be, which is 9-2-3. And I'm going to get into more of what that is. There's so much in here, man. All right, so now check this out. Now I was talking about Kim Jong Un, right, being associated with this attack. Now this is there's some crazy pictures that came out of North Korea. This is one in 2009, August 4th. By the way, it's August 4th, 2009. It's just not a coincidence that they pose. There's Clinton posing. August 4th, 2009 is Obama's birthday. Okay, Obama's birthday. In fact, that was when he was 49. years old. There's a lot to that too. That's 13. 49 is 13, which is, you know, the rebellion is 13 is rebellion, and they have that all over. I'll talk more about that. But look at this, August 4th, 2009. Like I said, was his birthday. You have this picture. This is all planned. They plan these things for reasons. But look, there's a mural behind them. What is this mural behind them? See these massive waves hitting? It looks like rocks, or it looks like. Oh, it looks like skyscrapers. It looks like a city. There's a city right here, and these massive waves. And look, this is Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un's father, and this is the Clintons and his different people like Podesta. That's Satanists. All these people are Satanists, basically. But they're meeting here, and you don't think that he's going to be associated in North Korea, and Kim Jong-un is going to be associated with these attacks? Here's some evidence here. Now look at this picture. Here's that same mural on the back wall, but you can see it better. Now we got North Korean military, and here's the young Kim Jong Un, and he's associated with this massive tsunami that's going to hit New York City. Look at that. Do you see that? That is okay. Yeah, you don't make obvious exact buildings, but it looks like buildings. They're squared out. I mean, look at this massive thing. I mean, you don't think this is not planned? I mean, I have evidence in front of your face. I'm going to keep showing you evidence. I've shown evidence in so many of my videos, and you add it all up, I've made a very good case for what's coming. At least enough for you to go, oh, maybe I should consider it. Okay? But unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be right in the middle of it and dead, or right in the middle of it, and it might be too late. Hopefully, it's not too late when it happens for you. I care about each and every one of you. Jesus does too. God does too. Okay? Now, here's another example. North Korea, this is from December 6th, which just a couple weeks ago, right? Now look, December 6th, well, I'll talk about this for a second. No, North Korea is expanding missile base with eye towards U.S., warns experts warn. Okay? So this so-called peace and everything, or this, Trump meeting with him, it's all a dog and pony show. Again, this is all planned. Even this is all, predictive programming and everything. Okay, South Korea is expanding an important missile base that would be one of the most likely sites for deploying intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching the United States. Two experts on the North's missile program said Thursday. Okay, citing satellite imagery and stuff, where these bases have just continued to get better and form and everything. And this could be a part of another psyop and everything. I mean, but basically they're setting up, what I'm saying is the media and different circumstances and all these different things are setting up North Korea to be the ones who attack us. And maybe at first it's going to look like it's natural or something, like they've been showing with these tsunamis in Indonesia. I mean, these are all forecasting what's coming. This last one here a couple days ago. I mean, are you kidding me? I did a quick little post about that and how it says landslide and volcano eruption and tsunami. I mean, that's what they're pre-predicting, this stuff that's coming. And what I'm talking about with Hawaii, okay? And maybe even possibly an island off the coast of, place off the coast of Africa that may come across the Pacific and hit, the Atlantic and hit New York. Or they'll have another explanation for it. I don't know. But they will be started by nuclear subs in the water shooting a torpedo. I'm pretty dang sure about it. Okay, so right here, this is also crazy. Now they do this, they're all into this big numerology. Now, by the way, there's biblical numerology. If you don't know that, you need to wake up to that fact. That's all over the Bible. God does numbers all over the place. He created numbers. Mathematics, numbers, everything. There's biblical numerology, which is completely right and good and all that stuff. Then there's the evil numerology, which they use that to divinate, and they use it for predicting the future. False prediction, by the way. They don't really make future predictions. They set it up, and they set it up behind the scenes with people and technology and all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, and then it looks like it came to pass, but they made it come to pass behind the scenes. Okay, the God doesn't do it that way. God says it's going to happen, it happens. And it's sometimes hundreds of years, thousands of years down the road. Okay? So, right here, as far as their numerology, it's not a coincidence that's December 6th. Okay? So that's 666. December breaking into 666 right there, 666. And then you also have, of course, you add 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. And this is how they do this, okay? They keep adding until they want to stop. It equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. So you have 9, and then guess what? 2 plus 1 plus 8 is 11. 9, 11. So they're already predicting, they're already showing you that this is going to happen. This is 9/11. This is the next 9/11. It's right here in front of you. Now, whether you believe that or not, I don't, whatever. I'm adding all this stuff together, and you added all the stuff I've made in the past and everything. And like I said, it's a very compelling case. Okay, so I'm going to show you this other scene, and I'm not going to preface it too much, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of the scene. There's a clock tower. There's a tower. It kind of looks like a phallic symbol and all that stuff, and it's made that way for a reason. But she gets this burst of light. She's looking out the window at these bars, and you can look at it. I'm not going to get into it because this would be way too long. But then she sees the missile, and what I've explained in my other videos, which you got to watch those, the missile hits from her vantage point and hits New York and explodes, and she gets blown back, and it's the light of the, see these rays here? It's from the sun god. They believe in the sun god, okay? The sun god is going to basically inseminate her, and there's a reason why she has blood there and everything, and she's the key to that and all that. It's crazy. But what she has on behind her, and JK's pointed this out originally, was the skeleton, the death guy, and he's blowing a party favor at this girl that's holding a white flag, and she's behind here. This kind of representation of this back here. The North Korean girl, but she's northern or not. She has a tiger on her back, and she's holding a white flag, and that's later in the iPad Go, which I'm not going to show and get into right now. But what I want to show you is this first. Now, I showed this in my other videos as well. iPad Go 2 solved. She is this. See this? See her? She's got that hook nose and everything. That's a hook nose. These are these states right here. That's her. See the eye right here is blackened, kind of. Her eye's blackened and stuff. I've shown this, and thank you for S for your help on this as well. I appreciate you, S. Like I've said before, Bond had Q. I had S. I have S still. S has been very helpful to me on some different things and added to my understanding and added more understanding to some things as well over the last few months. Thank you, S. Okay, so this is her mouth. This is her nose. She even has, you see this little thing right here on her chin right there? See that? There it is right there on her chin right there. See, this is, I think it's a conglomeration of states right here representing the East Coast and probably Washington. She's probably the whore of Washington or the whore of Babylon, maybe. Okay, and then she's so close. See, the top of her head is so close to New York. She can see from her tower New York being destroyed, and this is her being blown back. Okay, she it goes backwards and hits the wall. There's several things going on here that I pointed out before in my other videos. You got to watch those. Okay, but one thing I want to point out right now, not only that she this representing these states and everything, and basically East Coast in a sense, but right behind her, again, East Coast was the attack on New York, right? And it was after 3. Well, look at this. See that? That looked like a clock face, and see that's 3. See, that's 3. Now, it looks like sometimes these are random, these hash marks, someone's waiting in a prison, they got bars, and she's in there, and then she goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, that's 5 days, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, that's 5 days. But these actually, there's part where there's a big space and where it's showing Hurricane Hector and Hurricane Harvey in different places and stuff, and I've shown that in my other videos. So that's another example of that 3 o'clock, okay, on the East Coast, or just after 3 on the East Coast. Okay, now what I want to show you here, again, like I said, this is 9, 2, 3, and I just want to blow it up a little more to show you here. And then this is 9 o'clock Hawaii time. It's a 9, but it's also in the 9 position just after with the little tick there. Okay, so that's what that is. And you can see it a little bit bigger right here. Okay, and that's a 9, and so it's 9 o'clock. And then this, the next tick maybe. So it's showing it right there, but it's very hidden. Now, upside down, check this out. This is another confirmation that this is what this is talking about. So now, so that was Hawaii. Now, this is New York. Now, upside down, this New York Statue of Liberty, see this 3 right here? See this 3? There's a 3 right here. See that over here? 3. So upside down, that is 3 o'clock. That's confirming that's 3 upside down. Again, a lot of things they do is upside down or backwards or both. Okay. Now over here, there's some crazy stuff going on. Like I said, there's a 9. Again, the 9. And it's not going to look exactly like a 9 because it's part of a bunny head and it's got several things going on. But there's a 9. Now you can see the 2. See the little thing on the 2 right there? 2, 3. And it's associated with this. And this attack with the tsunami that's coming. So there's several things going on. It's multifaceted. I'm going to get into more of this later. But actually what I'm going to get into right now is one other date. And I mentioned on my last video was not only Christmas, which is 11 19 on the Chinese lunar calendar, which is also, of course, December 25th, Christmas. Then we also have another date represented that I'm going to start getting into. And we have 11. See this 11? 11, and it's red. See how this red right here? And what is that associated with? That's associated with the nuclear attack. Now, what I believe is there's two events. Now, this may play out this way and may not be. I may not. But this is the way I think it might go. We have possibly on Christmas, we have these the tsunamis, and then there's a big reaction. Maybe war starts or something. And then eventually, 6 days later on this day, check it out. Well, we have a nuclear attack on land that hits the United States with these submarines, and that's what iPetGoat is showing. It's showing ultimately the boom sign with George Bush. I showed you the red and everything. These are red on 11, and see what the spotlight is. This is Y. Okay, you can look at it as the white right here. And again, it's not super clear because they don't want you to see. You got to look at this stuff super intently and really study. And fortunately, thank God, I mean, I've been led by Jesus because I'm not that smart. I'm really not that smart. I mean, I have abilities and some of the codes and things like that and investigation and everything. But some of the things he's shown me, I'm like, there's no way I would have known that. No way. No way. So this is positive Y, but also negative. See the negative space right here is Y as well. It's both. There's a Y, so it's 11 Y, and that's where the spotlight's on. The Y. What's Y? The Y. Y is the 25th letter of the alphabet. So if it's 1125, what date is that? Well, I'll show you in a minute. I'll just tell you 1125 on Chinese lunar calendar, and I'll show you here in a little bit, is New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. So I think we could see tsunamis happening on Christmas. Could, possibly, may not happen. Tsunamis on Christmas, and then upscale complete nuclear attack on Christmas Eve into Christmas. Oh, that was weird. Hold on. Okay, I had a little alarm go off there, and I had to stop it for a second. Okay, so where am I at here? So basically, we have the tsunamis that may happen on Christmas on the east and west coast, and then eventually a full nuclear attack on the United States, which it's a blackout basically, and then at that point, basically the body of Christ who is following Jesus, who is faithful, will leave. Okay, at roughly the same time or something like that. Okay, that's what I'm hypothesizing, and then this shows that. Okay, so I believe this shows that. So when you have New York here, example by the Statue of Liberty, and the lights on. See that? Now this is a vortex, which I believe again when I said the little thing about the baby and its 69th position there is basically it's 69 is a portal. 69 is also represented by Cancer, and that's where in Cancer is where heaven basically I believe is, and we will be transported. At the same time, Lucifer will go into a man, which I believe is Barack Obama is the Antichrist. Then the believing, the faithful church, the bride of Christ, not the full body, but the bride of Christ will leave at the same time. And this is the portal that we'll leave in. This is the light, this light shining. And this is also represented by the attack on the ultimate attack on the United States, and represented by Statue of Liberty. And then I believe this is an overall representation of the United States. And then when the light goes out and the arm breaks off, that's basically the whore of Babylon, which is really what this is. She is not a she. She is a he, really. And he is has 7 rays on his head. And it's basically the sun god, and it's also Isis, which is also Semiramis. I mean, it's so many things. It's crazy, but it's all pagan beliefs and everything. When this closes off and it's dark, this light turns off, and it's over. And you see, it's winter, and we're in winter now. This is all the snow you've seen. Everything is winter, and also I think also parallels nuclear winter. Okay. And then this is the transition to the next scene. And like I've said before, I showed in that 2018 Economist magazine with the little baby, it's in 69th position. This also shows that the transition into the next scene is a baby inside this egg. And the baby is from Revelation 12 sign. And in Revelation 12, the baby is going to be birthed into heaven. And see, this baby is praying. Okay, it's a Christian child that's going to be born into heaven, like it says in Revelation 3, 12:3, and the rest of Revelation 12. And that's all in here. The man-child is being birthed into heaven. At the same time, Statue of Liberty, representing the United States, is going to fall with the nuclear attack. Okay, and that's what it's showing right here, I believe. Okay, again, I may be wrong, but I'm showing this. Okay, now we have Lily. And again, like JK has mentioned, the back here is 2017, then it goes dark, and then we're at 2018. The apple represents the ball of New York that falls in New Year's Eve. The apple, it used to be an apple in the 80s, and it changed to a ball. But the apple's going to fall off her. She's going to drop the apple, which falls over her dress, which means something. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. But we're ultimately representing the apple falling when the door, and this is all red, which is nuclear attack. And I'm going to show you what year that is and what time that is, I think. Now we're going to go to that video. Okay, so here is Lily. That's what the Hierophant calls her, Lily. And I believe she actually represents America in some way. But she's going to drop the apple, which of course is the attack on New York. And New York is the big apple, right? So she's going to drop this apple. It's going to get dark. 2017 is going to be over. This represents the month of 2017. Again, this is all in Jkbugout's video, which I highly recommend you check out. And it's going to be in the description box. Okay, and there's so much more to this back wall as well for this year as well. So he can describe that better than I can. And again, he's the forefront of all this understanding. But I'm just adding to this with my understanding, I believe. Okay, so I'm going to show this video here, and I'm going to talk about these different, where we're at, where this is coming. Oh, here we go. I'm going to slow this down a little bit here. Okay, now she rolls now there's a transition. It basically cuts away from her, and then you have this ball rolling. Now, see how there's this big circle around her, which is that same, it's a Hierophant logo, but it's also underneath her, and it's also, I believe, it's showing the lunar eclipse and representing that, and that dot by it down here is Mars, because Mars was the closest it's been to Earth in like 15 years, and the second closest in like 40,000 years, something like that. And so there's a lot of celestial things going on here, and I believe this is the first time when the ball drops. This is representing, like I said, this is lunar calendar, okay? There's a lot of lunar calendar in this because the Chinese lunar calendar and the Chinese dating and all that stuff there's a lot of symbols. There's a lot of symbols like the goat and the dog, and I mean, there's so many symbols, and they use a lot of symbols in this. Same thing with the celestial symbols and things like the moon. See this moon right here? So when she drops it, this is the first time I believe this is the moon, and it shows moon cycles as it rolls. Okay, and I'm going to confirm that in different ways. But there's the first one. I'm going to make this slow here. Oop. 2, 3, 4. Again, that's 4 moon cycles. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now the cross of the 7. Now this is upside down. If you look at it from Obama's standing right here, and you look at it from this perspective, it's 7. But from this perspective, as we can see it, it's L, and then this one is C. So LC is lunar calendar. Again, JK has pointed all this out. He's the one I think that originally found this, I believe. Lunar calendar, but then upside down, it's 7, and then let me show you what it does. Now watch. Now we're at the 7th month, and I believe when this thing hits the foot, it's going to be the 8th month. So this is all about the position of the apple in the months. This is the timeline. This is crazy, and I'm going to show you several confirmations of this. 8. Okay, so that's 8. It hits, right? And it's represented by 8 when it's right here in front of this thing, which makes an 8. This and this make an 8. So this makes an 8 right here. See that making an 8. So when it hits his foot, it's an 8. Okay, now this is an 8. Now this is crazy here. This is what I found. Now when it hits the foot, it's 8. When it stops right here, look at the shadow right here. See the stem? This is a 1 or an I, actually. It's a Roman I, a Roman 1. See this I? There's not even a big spot on here, but the way the sun, or the way the light looked like it's shining, it's it's big on. This is a Roman numeral I, and this leaf shadow makes the X right here. Now, what's an I and an X like this? And in the order, it's 9. So, like I said, when it hits the foot, it's the lunar calendar 8th month, lunar month. Remember, we had 7, then we had 8. It rolls, stops here 9, and that's represented by this 9 right here. And watch, it's going to roll back this way, and I'm going to show you what that is. Roll back this way. That was 9. This is going to be 10. It stops. That's 10. It stops. It just stopped. Look, X is 10. Man, this is crazy. When I really saw this, I think the Lord really put this in my mind. This is 10. Now it's going to roll back this way. Okay, now watch. Roll back that way right now. And then stop, and it splits. But look, when it's just before it splits, I didn't catch it exactly at the moment, but that's good enough. X and then 1. X, 1 when it splits. So it's X and 1 is 11. So it splits at the 11th month. That confirms what we saw in the first part of iPad Go with the goat and everything. That's at 11. Okay, now this is crazy. All right, so we're in the 11th month. It's the position of where the apple is and how it's rolling, how it's going back and forth is each month. That's what this is. This is how complicated the timeline is going to be in this thing. Crazy. So we have 7, 8, and another reason why this could, but it goes right to 8, and then it jumps from this I and the X to 9, 10, and then it kind of rolls back again, and that's 11. So we have the X, and the 1 here is 1, and that's when it splits open. And I have more confirmations, so watch. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go into the slides right now, actually, so you can see the next thing here. Pause. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to go into the slides of that part. But before I do that, now, she had the apple in her hand, okay? And then check this out. This is the Kilauea explosion part, the island I was showing you, right? And it said 9, 2, 3, right? Now, look at this. On her dress, upside down and backwards, it's 9, 2, 3. Look how these look similar. See this? There's another 9, 2, 3. And she drops the ball or the apple, which is New York, and the attack on New York right over 9, 2, 3, which means it's going to happen, the fall of the apple or New York on 9, 2, 3, which is also a symbol of, the complete symbol of the United States. Okay, Statue of Liberty. I mean, it's been so many things. Statue of Liberty being the symbol of the United States. So, and guess what? Remember I said December 31st. Okay, when does this drop? December 31st. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, are you following me? Hopefully you are. Now, remember, it splits here. It splits on X1, which is the 11th month it splits. And again, this is Kilauea right here. Let me show you. Do I have this on here? No, I don't. Okay, this is the, and I showed in my last video, this is the island of Kilauea right here, I mean, island of Hawaii right here. This is a volcano exploding right here, and Julian T found this. But then I realized that this split was happening right on the edge, was where Kilauea is, and that section of Hawaii is going to break off, which is pre-planned. Look at my last video, watch my last video, and it explains that. And you see the lava right here and everything. This is kind of brown here. That's the island with the volcano shooting up when this thing splits on the 11th month. And guess what? What's in the tip of the shoe? Oh, what's on the tip of the shoe? Look at this right here. 1, 9. This is a 9. It's hard to see here, but it is here. It's 1, 9. 1, 9. Now, what was 1, 9? That was the S, remember? So the 11S was 11, 19, but we have it right here. We have 11 right here, and then we have 19 on the tip of the shoe. Now, when this explodes, opens up, this touches the 19. So when this opens up and this apple falls on the 19th, that's showing that it's happening on the 19th, 11/19, which again is Christmas. Okay, and then confirming that this is the 11th month, we have this leaf right here that's seen, and look at the 11 on the leaf. See the 11? That is the 11th month. So this apple splitting and opening is the whole 11th month. And so when it hits here, it's the 19th, because that's when Kilauea explodes and everything. And then we have a little bit of time. Something's going on right here. Well, this, like I've shown before, this represents also a submarine. That's kind of the top that sticks out of the water. This is a submarine, his foot. And then he's shooting a missile out of the water. And guess what? This is what's going to happen. So this is some time frame in the 11th month. Okay? And then what comes up? An explosion. This is the flowering, which is Hurricane Florence, the flowering, the birth of the Antichrist. When the Antichrist comes out of the cave later on in Jkbugout, there's all these flowers on the water when he's coming out on the boat from the cave, which I'm not going to show right now. But look, I numbered each one of these, and there's 25 of them, of these petals. They're also pink, which he's effeminate. Also, when I get into all that, his wife's a man, Obama. Anyway, there's pink, and he's also represented by purple, the royal color purple, and I've talked about that in my videos before. The color of the year 2018 is Pantone ultraviolet, which is purple, and which he is his favorite color. Anyway, so there's 25 petals on here, and then again, we're in the 11th month, which is symbolized by that leaf that was just covered up, and then we're on the 25th day, which guess what is December 31st, New Year's Eve. Okay, New Year's Eve is when the Antichrist will be birthed. Okay, technically. Another weird thing about this is there's also this thing in the center, whatever this is called. There's 12 of these, and then we have 25. So that, I think, it also confirms something happening on 12/25, which is December 25th. Some kind of, I think, those tsunamis, that's what that is. And that's what this is right here, splitting open. But then we have some time. This is growing. This happens, this explodes, and I believe this is representing a nuclear explosion. Multiple nuclear explosions in the United States, destroying the United States. America is laid low 923. Like I saw in my vision, on my dream, and some other visions and other things. Okay? So right here, 923, America is laid low. Finally, on New Year's Eve, from the transition from New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. Okay, so now let me show you this now. So you have the 11th month, right? The 25th day. Remember, 25 petals, okay, 25 petals, or also remember the 11Y, remember the Y next to the Statue of Liberty and the water? 11Y, Y is the 25th letter of the alphabet, so we have December 31st is 11/25. December 31st. I'm giving you confirmation and confirmation and confirmation. And here's George Bush with the boom sign with the red. Again, with the red and the boom sign. Okay, and then look, so this is what I'm saying here. Okay, I'm saying several things here, but she drops the apple, it rolls, it goes to the end of the year, and guess what? This is a loop. Somehow this is a loop. This is also loops back. She drops it, and this is 2019. 2018 going into 2019, which is 923, and let me show you why. But first, Economist magazine, going into 2019, before they showed this new cover, which actually shows stuff on it, they had released this, and a lot of people knew what this meant. This means blackout. This means the result of an attack. A lot of people had weird feelings about this, and I did too immediately. And I knew this means attack. This means there will be an EMP, which I think from these nuclear attacks that I'm talking about. And this was the first cover release. And by the way, this is the 33rd edition of this cover. Okay, 33rd edition of this magazine. 33 is, of course, the Mason, the 33rd degree Masons are the top level Masons, which are all the big leaders in the world, basically. Okay, so that is 2019, the world in 2019. And then now let me get into that. Now I was going to go back to the beginning with Jkbugout. Now I'm showing this backwards, so you can see a little bit better. Well, again, in the very beginning, this is all shown to you in the front opening scene right here with the goat. This is 2018, 666, 6 by 6 by 6 is 18, 2018. Year of the dog is 2018. And then we have 11 again. And remember the Y, there's a Y right here. See the Y? And for a while I was like, what is that? That means something. And then I realized there was a 9 upside down, 11. And then it wasn't until real recently I put it all together. There's 11 over here, this is the timeline going this way. There's also a timeline on this barbed wire, like I mentioned, Hawaii moving to S, and then guess what? The barbed wire moves through the S, and then it comes back to the Y, and the Y is again the 25th letter of the alphabet. So 11/25 is December 31st, going into the first, the evening of December 31st. This is crazy. They believe the Illuminati, the Freemasons, they're going to go from the bottom of the pyramid, which is 666, which is, again, that was that 18, but 1 plus 8, if you take 6 plus 6 or 6 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. They can just keep going or they can stop. That's how they do it. 9 to 3. The 21 on the top or the 3 at the top is going from 9 to 3. They believe in going from 9 to 3. Okay, so this is basically what I'm saying. 2018 is backwards. 8 plus 1 is 9, and then 2 is 9, 2. This is how they do this stuff, okay? They add what they want, they don't add what they want. They keep adding or they stop. This is how they do it. I've seen it in many examples all over the place for months and months, and actually for years, actually, from when I first started studying some of this stuff. And then 2019 is 9, 1 plus 2 is 3, 9, 3. So the transition time in New Year's Eve to New Year's Day is 9, 2, 3. 2018 backwards is 9, 2. 2019 backwards is 9, 3. It's 9, 2, 3. That's in tons of movies and TV shows and everything. I mean, thousands of places, if you know anything about this. So basically, again, to sum up here, what I'm saying is December 31st at roughly after 9 p.m. in Hawaii Standard Time, I'm guessing 9:23 because they're just like that. It could be 9:11. Just after 9 sometime. I'm going to go as far as saying 9:23 because that might be the farthest, because that, I think they might do a 9:11 or they might do 9:23 or maybe another number. I don't know. But I'm thinking December 31st at 9:23, roughly the latest p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, to January 1st, 3:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the time in New York or on the East Coast. These two times and 2 different years and 2 different times of day are all the exact same moment. And I really believe that I was onto something a few months ago when I first saw this in Jkbugout. I just didn't know exactly the days. I thought there might be this day or that day or these 2 days, because they use both 9.2 and 9.3 in all the predictive programming and all the movies and stuff. They use both. And they've used it in all these different false maze paths that a lot of people have taken, a lot of Christians, and then a lot of them have given up because they go, oh, it looks like this is the day, and then no, it's not the day. No, it looks like this day. I'm not giving up. And I'm not saying, I never said that it could be, definitely be this particular day or that particular day, but I know the day is coming. And so again, I'm saying this could be the day. This could be the day. This might not be the day. This could be the day. And I'm hoping in a way it's the day, because I want this stuff to be over. I'm tired of all this stuff. I'm waiting for this day to happen, and I'm ready for it to happen. But you know what? God is super patient. God is super long-suffering. He's waiting for as many people to come to him as possible. I'm trying to be like him. And I care about a lot of people, and I've been begging God to bring as many people to him as possible during this time. And I've had a lot of people contact me and email me and stuff, and with all kinds of great stories, and they've come to the Lord, or they're coming back to Jesus, or because they were, with him before and they turned away from him, or people coming to the Lord, and because of my videos and other people's stuff as well. And I'm thankful. Okay, I want more of you to see this, but the horrible fact is, a lot of you that see this won't believe until it actually starts happening. And I'm hoping that you will even believe after it starts happening, because of what I've already shown, what the Lord's trying to show you through me. Okay, so what they're doing, and I showed you with the pyramid, for example, they're going from, and their sick meanings and all this stuff, they're going to go from 9 to 3, like the pyramid, on 9/23, December 31st, 2018 to January 1st, 2019 at 9/23, 9 p.m., after 9 p.m. to after 3 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay, all these 9/23s. That's the way they do it, okay? And by the way, Jesus was crucified from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. He also, backwards, he was crucified on the 3rd hour of the day to the 9th hour of the day, 3 to 9, because the 6 a.m. was the 1st hour of the day, 3rd hour of the day was 9 a.m., and then 3 p.m. was the 9th hour of the day. So he was crucified from the 3rd hour of the day to the 9th hour of the day, which is 9/3 backwards, or 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's some sick things with that, with them, and I'll get into that too. But here's another confirmation in Jkbugout, yet another one, of December 31st and New Year's Eve being the time. Here it is. There's death, the death symbol. Okay, the guy with the death, the party favor. It's a party, right? He has a party favor. It is a big party on New Year's Eve, right? Party like it's 1999. Anyway, no, it's not. It's not a good thing. When Prince sang about that, that's not a good thing. That means the end of the world. That's what he was singing about, and he died. And actually, that was a ritualistic killing to point to the Antichrist, which was Obama. When I get into all that, I almost did a video on that, of all these deaths of celebrities that relate to the revealing of the Antichrist, and I can get into that. But anyway, so these explosions, again, there's purple. Again, remember I said Obama is, the Pantone color was, what is it called? The purple, I can't think of the purple color again. Anyway, it's violet, ultraviolet. There's ultraviolet explosion, and the pink. The two together, they represent the Antichrist. And the explosion, which is also, the nuclear explosion, which is also, New Year's celebration and fireworks as well. This is all multifaceted, multi-layered meanings. But in these are 923. There's 923 right here. There's also 42. There's 33. There's 322 over here. There's 322 is, the skull and bones. There's several numbers in here. They're right in here, and I'm going to show you, for example. There's 932, which is 923 in a different configuration right here. There's also more things going on here. There's 33 over here. I'm not going to get into all that, but there's several numbers in here, as you can probably see. Then right here, you got a 9 backwards right here, 9 right here. Then you have a 2, and then you have a 3 kind of hidden right here. There's a 3. There's a 9, 2, 3. And again, there we go. 923 is on New Year's Eve with a party and a party favor right here, and there's death coming. Sick people. Okay, I actually hate this video, just like JK and maybe probably Julian. I hate this video. I absolutely hate it. But I love working for the Lord and working for you to warn you of what's coming. Okay, well, I'm just going to do a little bit more here. This has been a lot longer than I thought. Well, I knew it was going to be long, but I was hoping I can make it shorter. But here we go. Barack Obama's birthday, August 4th, 1961 at 7:24 p.m. This is birth certificate. This is phony birth certificate. By the way, that's proven false by 2 different houses of certification. I think one in the United States, one in Europe. There's 11 points where this fails, and the main reason is because it was proven to be digitally made. At that time, it would use a typewriter to be used to smack the keys. But unfortunately, all the 4s and all the whatever, they're exactly the same, and it shows it came from a computer. And that's just one point of authentication that this is false. I think there's a 9 or 11 more points, or 9 or 11 total points. I can't remember, 9, 11. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, completely false. It's been proven by 2 houses, and Joseph Arpaio and investigators made this very clear. Yeah, this is a false birth certificate, the one he released. Now, this is trippy. Now, I thank you for my brother, Born for Battle 74. He got me on this track, and I finished it for you, brother. I'm looking out for you, man, and I appreciate you, just like I'm giving a shout out to Born for Battle 74, my brother. And he started going along this line, and I think I finished this. So Barack Obama's birthday was August 4th, 1961 at 7:24 p.m. If you go 666 months from that, you get February 4th, 2017 at 7:24, because it's all 7:24 right here to this point. Add 666 days, you get to December 2nd. Add 666 hours, you get to December 30th, 2018 at 1:24 p.m. Add 666 minutes, you get December 31st, which is December 31st, 2018 at 12:30 a.m. Add 666 seconds, you get to December 31st, 2018 at 12:41 a.m. The birth of the Antichrist. That night, this is the morning of that day, but that night is the celebration, so-called, right? All those, you saw those fireworks, all that. Who ever thought that celebrating the new year, which was also, by the way, falsely added years and years and years ago by the Rome, and even the Roman Catholic Church, because the year was in March and they changed it. I wonder why they changed it to January 1st. Because maybe they knew ahead of time the Antichrist would be, all this plan would be planned, that he would be birthed on that day. That's crazy. They've altered the times and laws to get to the point they want to get to. Okay, I'm not going to get into much more of this, but I'm going to touch on this. He is the Antichrist. He is the phi, which is the Greek letter phi. Right here, this is a phi, which is the golden mean or the golden ratio, and you can look that up. He is a clone. Okay, he is a clone. This is lightning falling from heaven. This is Barack Obama. It's in the Bible. Lightning falling from heaven. Barack Obama in Hebrew is Barack Obama, lightning falling from heaven, what Jesus said. Jesus said, I see Satan as lightning falling from heaven. And I had that in my other videos. By the way, this is, again, I've said this before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 1, 2, in order, top to bottom, left to right, or left to right, top to bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's the sixth. 1, 2, he's the second. 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm sorry, then last one is 3. 1, 2, 3, 6 to 3. He is 6, 2, 3, which is 9, 2, 3. 6 is upside down. I had a dream from Jesus where he said 6, 2, 3, 9, 2, 3 is 6, 2, 3. By the way, the 6th month of the lunar calendar this year, and the 23rd day is, guess what? August 4th, Barack Obama's birthday. Okay, are you convinced yet? Now here he is. He's some of his signatures. And guess what? In his signature, he's got the phi. Phi, which is the golden ratio. Are you kidding? The golden mean? He's the golden mean. He has literally the phi in his signature. He's the phi. He knows what he is. He was created to be that way. Literally, that's why he's a man and a beast. He's 666. He's the man and the beast. He's 623 and 923. 623 and 923, I should say. It's not 23, it's 23. 923 and 623. More evidence. Right here. 623. This is 623. And lightning comes out of 623. This year, 623, 2018, which this is about this year, and 2017 and 2018, lightning falls from heaven. Okay. Also, this is crazy. Okay, I was showing this recently. Remember this phi? This is a kind of a phi. Again, this is all kind of, there's Donald in here for Donald Trump, and Jkbugout points that out. He does a great job with that. But I found this. O, B, A, M, and then there's probably A upside down, or maybe there's another one in here somewhere, but I think it's an upside down A. Obama, 623. Lightning falling from heaven. I'm just telling you. He's the Antichrist. He fits. I have over 150 reasons, solid reasons why he's the Antichrist. Nobody else comes close. Okay, like I said, December, remember him. Let's look at him. So remember 6th month right here. Okay, and then we had the 23rd day right here. 23rd day, which is August 4th. 6th month, 23rd day, August 4th, Barack Obama's birthday. Okay, I want to show you another thing too. It's right here. Obama's birthday is right here, and guess what? This is Obama right there. See that? He's got purple on him. He has the big ears. You see that big ear right here? And I'm going to show you another figure in Jkbugout where it actually shows Obama, and his ear looks exactly the same. Ear, purple. These are presidents all here with the bushes. This is the yin and yang. He had a cat. There's a Carter. We have Reagan back here. This is Kennedy with a shot to the head. These are 12 presidents. I haven't figured them all out. That's Donald Trump right here with his hair the way it is. And this is, JK found this one. His hair like this, and then he sits down doing his hands in an Illuminati triangle shape right there. That's how he sits a lot. It's in tons of pictures. JK found that. Yeah, I mean, crazy. This is Obama. But guess what? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's the 6th one on this side. She is the slash. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's the 6th one. By the way, he's 666, right? Of course. Or he's 623, so he'd be the 6th one. Then we have 1, 2. This is not 3 because these are both adjoined. 1, 2, 3. 623. 923 is 623. 623 is 923. Here he is again. Okay. JK pointed this out brilliantly. He found this, and I was very impressed. This is Obama. There's the ear. There's the ear. See the ear, the pointed ear, the funky looking ear, the Martian ear. Look at over here again. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I passed it. Oh, hello. Look at the Martian ear right there. Look at that ear. That's the ear. That's his ear. That's him. That's him. That's the Antichrist right there. And guess what? There's that pink again. That's the ultraviolet, I should say. And boom, touching the dragon. See, this is telling the truth. The tassel, like JK pointed out, he's graduated, and now I don't know, remember if he said it really, but he's the Antichrist, and he's graduating with the tassel going to the front, and he's touching the tassel's touching the dragon, or pointing to the dragon, as JK has mentioned, this is crazy. Why would Obama wear white gloves? Isn't that kind of racist, kind of sounding weird? It's almost like, I don't know, but it doesn't seem, as far as I know, he's never worn white gloves, but this is all symbolic. So this is an egg. Again, JK pointed this out. And this is a cracked egg. He's trying to eat the baby inside. As you see, I showed that baby with the praying hands. He's inside an egg, and he's trying to eat it. And you hear this. It almost sounds like he's laughing, but he's like trying to eat the baby inside, because he's the dragon trying to eat the child before devour the child, like in Revelation 12, before he goes into heaven, is birthed in heaven, like it says. There is going to be a rapture just before the tribulation, or right at the time of the start of the tribulation, as in Isaiah 66. Read it. Isaiah 66 is the birth of a nation, and birth of a nation like that. And that's the birth of the bride of Christ, the body of Christ, joining the head in heaven at the beginning of the tribulation that happens after the birth, which is really bizarre. Tribulation and pain happening after the birth, and that's what it's talking about. Okay, he's also in a pink chair, which is okay. So there's that. Remember those explosions, and I was talking about pink and purple. There it is again. And I'm giving you solid gold nuggets. Are you seeing this? Solid gold nuggets from Jesus to me to you. Thank God. Lastly, 923. Remember I mentioned going from 923 or 923. Going from December 31st, 2018 to January 1st, 2019 at 12 at night. You remember? The ball drops. It's midnight. And then I think this is actually the first second. I don't think that's the first minute. I think it's the first second. It's right here. God gave this to me. Sent it to me. I looked down on it. I could not believe it. Someone said, "Oh, that's an olive barrel." And I looked down. I didn't even see this. And I looked at this and I was like, in fact, I was asking God about a video and the timing and everything. And I was just really inquiring him, can you just show me the timing? Is this 9:23? Doesn't make sense. And the next day, this guy's like, and I wasn't even looking at this. I was coming in here. When you look at this, the guy who'd been gone for a while, he said, "Oh, that's an olive barrel. That's not a rain barrel." And I'm like, yeah. And I looked down at it, and I never saw this before. I saw this. I'm like, 9:23. You got to be kidding me. And I was all about 9:23 for more than 3 years. And it was just plaguing me. I did not understand it. And I was getting more understanding. I thought it was maybe, at that point, I thought 923, what the Illuminati think, going from 9 to 3, at the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid. I thought that might be it. Maybe it's a date. I knew there was some crazy dates with the Revelation 12 sign, which was on 923. And then Obama meeting the Pope, which was 923 of 2015. And all that. And that's what God showed me on purpose, that I think that those were important, and they were important. But ultimately, it's 923. Last few things here. Christmas, like I mentioned, is associated with Jesus, and it's his. It's not really his birth, of course. It's a pagan holiday, of course, but it's associated in a sense with it. Now check this out. This might be why this is 923. There might be two 923s. There might be the 31st going to the 1st, and then also Christmas is another type of 923, possibly. Now this is what I'm speculating about. So if you go, of course, 8 plus 1 is 9. Then you have the 2, and then you have 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 5 is 7, and this makes 10. So we have 9, 2, and then 1 backwards. So it's 9, 2 plus 1. 9, 2 plus 1 is 3. 9, 2, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's a different way of looking at it. They've done this several times in kind of this way, where they add this way. So that's 9, 2, 3. But also look at this. Remember I've mentioned a few times that this is the time of the year where Jesus was born, supposedly. It's not really when he was born. He was actually born in the Feast of Tabernacles. The first day of the Feast of Tabernacles, on the 8th day he was circumcised and everything, whatever. But right here, check this out. This is upside down and backwards. This is 6, which is 9 upside down. 2, again, it's backwards because it's from the bottom to the top. 2, 1. 9, 2, 1, or 9, 2 plus 1. 9, 2 plus 1, Christmas. And that's why I think it might be, okay? So we might have two 923s, the first attack and the final attack. That's what I'm guesstimating at this point right now. Okay, again, so 2018 backwards is 9, 2, 8 plus 1, and then you got 2. 2019 is 9, and then 1 plus 2 is 3, 9, 2, 3. Going to transition from 2018 to 2019. These are the times roughly. Now it could be again just after 9. It could be 9:11. It could be any time. But I'm just guessing they would be so sick and do 9:23 and then 3:23 on the East Coast because it's all 9:23, 9:23, 9:23, 9:23. It's crazy. And like I mentioned over here, I said Jesus was crucified. Remember, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, and then backwards, it was the third hour of the day, and the ninth hour of the day, which is 9:3 backwards. There's so much in here, and I can't even remember all this stuff. I got so much stuff I could share with you. Oh, actually, in fact, here we go. Many fish confirmations. I almost forgot that. I'm so glad I said that. I'm going to have a link in the description box from Many Fish. He does a YouTube channel. Some of you know who he is. Some of you don't. Watch his stuff. His last video, I'm going to have a link to it in the description box. And there's several things I could have put on here about these tsunamis and how they relate to past tsunami warnings and even Israel and all this stuff I've talked about in my last video and stuff. And I had a lot of the similar dates I found and stuff, but I was going to put some of this stuff in here, but Many Fish did a video on it, and I'm like, yay, Many Fish. And Lord said, don't do this. Don't add those in this one because this is about this subject. And then he ends up having another brother that does it. That's how this has happened so many times. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to leave it at this. It's been a massively long video, and I apologize for that. But I've got some massive gold nuggets, and I'm excited to finally be done with this. I may not do another video. I don't know. But I think I've got it. And oh man, this is crazy. I couldn't wait to get this out. I spent so much time on this, and a lot of energy, and I'm tired, and man, this is crazy. So I'm probably going to go get some sleep now. But so I thank God for you. Please open your heart up to the Lord Jesus before this stuff comes. And when this comes, if you have some time, reach for him. He will accept you. He will at any time. Please, I beg you. So this is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.